ละอีกไม่เกิน2วิดีโอน่าจะจบแล้วก็เราคงจะเก็บไปสักแถวนี้แล้วค่อยเปลี่ยนวิดีโอใหม่เพื่อเล่นตอนจบโอเค
Let me tell you of Ravenfluft, a quarry Meave passed by. A quarry with a dark history. For years earlier, its wall had collapsed, burying dozens alive. Scholars summoned from Oxenfurt were unanimous in their findings. The rock was fragile, further digging would likely cause slides. Meave had heeded the scholars' advice and closed the quarry by royal decree. Yet now, as she neared it, Meave could hear the even tap of pickaxes. She dispatched scouts to investigate. They returned promptly, their faces sullen, their cloaks blanched with a fine limestone dust.
Quarry's open anew, Your Grace. Nilfgaardians. They've got folk in the pit working it. Appear to be from the surrounding villages.
Interesting. Their engineers have found a way to render it safe. Secure the walls.
I'd say that's right unlikely, Majesty. Judging by the fresh graves we saw.
The Queen then turned to Reynard, as ever at her side.
Reynard, what do you advise?
As a soldier, my Queen, I'd advise against any kind of assault. The terrain's hard, unsuitable for a fight, and we've little to gain from a victory. As a man, however...
Yes?
To leave our folk in chains, in that death trap. It wouldn't be right.
If I were to calculate in heart and mind, keep note of gains and losses...
Began Meave.
I'd bend the knee to the Imperials, just as Willem did. But bloody arithmetic won't dictate my course. For I do what's just. I do what's right. Follow me!
Her troop...
โอ้โดดครับโดดเร็วกันหน่อย
Those Horsens. Forcing my own subjects to fight us.
I smell a leak. Cursed traitors. All right, that's no problem.
Something from nothing? It's exactly what I do.
One boat's all I need.
The overseers are dead, Your Grace.
ไพ่ดีจบเลย
Illyrians handily dispatched the Nilfgaardian overseers, more trained in the ways of the whip than the sword. Those who survived now found themselves shackled in the very chains they'd forced the peasants to wear. Peasants. Oh, unfortunate souls. The cruel labor in the quarry had taken its toll. They stood before the Queen, shrunken to skin and bone, clothed in tattered rags, their eyes reddened by dust. But in those eyes burned a brilliant fire.
Your Grace, them black clads treated us like dogs, stripped us of dignity. So we beg you, give us arms. Let us march neath your banner. 'Tis a chance at revenge we seek, we want.
Reynard leaned towards Meave and spoke in a scarcely audible whisper.
Majesty, they've knout. Not boots, not even foot wraps. To equip the lot, train them, would cost a small fortune.
ไม่มีปัญหาเงิน
'Tis
ไม่ใช่ปัญ
true.
หา
They've knout to their names,
Said the Queen.
have few skills to offer and little strength. But to look in their eyes is to know they'll never flee, never throw down their arms. Such recruits are worth coining any amount.
Emaciated, downtrodden, the peasants met the Queen's offer with gratitude. They relished the thought of facing their tormentors in a fight.
หรือว่าการใหม่ๆขโมยมาเลยทีเดียว
Meave now reached Willowhain, a settlement she knew well, for it lay near Waldenrad, where in peacetime she would go to escape her queenly duties and enjoy the thrill of a hunt.
Pheasant, grouse, and partridge in abundance. You will see.
Said Meave in muted excitement, pivoting in her saddle to face Gascon. Alas, it appeared the war had ravaged even these woods. Where life had stirred and grown tall before, only resinous trunks remained. And the village itself had lost its quaint allure, surrounded now by a double stockade, a golden sun fluttering above it.
Bastards couldn't even let the damn trees be.
Gascon seethed. A dismal scene. Her once cherished wood, and it weighed heavily on the Queen's spirits. Waldenrad had been a place removed, where she could rest and forget the weight of her crown. Reynard's voice roused Meave from her sad reverie.
A Nilfgaardian garrison holds the village.
He said,
We ought to drive them out. Avoid any surprise later from the rear.
Give the order to attack, but none is to play the hero. We shall breach or topple the stockade together. Senseless to perish so close to home.
Reynard.
รู้แล้ว
The time has come to purge these devils from our homes! Follow me!
Blood washes away all shame!
You sure about that?
เฮ้ยกดผิดโอ้ยพลาดเลยจะได้ผม
Meave
I smell a leak.
Hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
You mad? Don't shake that! One bolt I need. Alba!
Give me a time.
Again and again and again.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
Discipline shall bring us victory!
2 3 4 5 6 7 8โอ้ย
For the Queen!
God save the Queen! One man's battlefield is another man's ripe patch for harvest.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
Necessity! Invention's mum.
My prescription, a bit of bloodletting.
ยอมดูดิชนะกูไหม
A highly curious case.
Rivia is ours! Ours!
When the battle dust had settled, Neve instructed her soldiers to gather Willowhain's inhabitants. Upon spotting their armed liberators, the common folk cowered in terror.
No longer need you fear.
The Queen shouted,
No longer must you worry about homes and loved ones. The war's nearly done.
Of a sudden, a villager dropped to his knees and raised his hands to the heavens in supplication.
Guide my queen!
Neve broke off oddly, baffled by the man's outburst. And then it dawned on her. The Rivians of Willowhain had been driven away. Taking their place, Nilfgaardian settlers brought in to transform the near-subsistence plots of local peasants into great estates producing for the Empire. Reynard managed to grasp the essence of the Nilfgaardian peasants' frantic pleas.
They wish to stay. They've come to love the land. They pledged to renounce their emperor, swear allegiance to you as their rightful ruler. They...
Neve had stopped listening. She turned to survey the hamlet. The walls of the huts freshly whitewashed, tools neatly arranged, flower beds well tended. A young girl of 6 or 7 summers peered out from her hiding place in a sunflower patch.
Your Majesty?
Asked Reynard, having noted that Meve's mind had wandered.
What are your orders? What shall we do?
They can stay on 2 conditions. Tell them. For 15 years, they'll pay double the tax. And if any of the previous inhabitants return, they're to be given their huts, lands, and any crops produced in their absence without delay.
The Nilfgaardian settlers accepted the terms with relief. Meve's soldiers with markedly less enthusiasm. As the force left Willowhain, the troops made a show of knocking aside any food or drink the peasants offered.
Hail, Reina, Maeve! Here, Equaloir! Clar and Lydia and Rivia! Eslenk, Arantaik. Hail, Reina! Eslenk, Rech, Sherlane.
หีบเดี๋ยวค่อยมา2อันนี้ก็ได้รวมกันไปก่อน
Give me a target. Our ballista, your command.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this. Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Tell me you jest.
God save the Queen!
Again and again and again. Sod it all.
Watch your heads!
All right, that's no problem.
Don't like this. I'm a monster. To the last! Cursed traitors. Tomorrow I'll drink with our forefathers!
Use this. Not sure if I watch it yet, but...
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Mahjong, Mahjong.
ลืมใช้ โอ้ยแล้วว่า
Ugh.
ring won't come off. Just take the whole finger.
ลืมตีแล้ว
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
I smell a leak.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
บายจบ
Neve spied the outline of Malabon Castle on the horizon and turned dour. True, no golden suns waved atop its towers, yet that did not mean those within supported her. Malabon belonged to House Obert, long in conflict with Meve's own, and with Meve herself.
Behind their ramparts. Do you see them, Reynard?
Asked Meve, shaking her head.
Countless ballistae, collecting dust, while war rages all around.
Perhaps the Oberts will lend us aid,
Reynard replied.
True, you've been at odds with them in the past, but perhaps now, faced with a common foe.
A common foe?
Snorted the Queen.
You mean Nilfgaard, to whom they opened their gates? Caldwell, whom they supported?
But they were convinced the Empire would win this war, and resistance pointless. Yet you have shown all the North the Blackclads can be defeated. So perhaps they shall forget old wrongs.
The things I do for the good of my realm.
Meve sighed.
So be it. Reynard, send a runner to the castle. Tell the Oberts their queen seeks a word.
Moments later, the castle's heavy iron gate creaked open. Meve rode into the cobblestone courtyard, where Margravine Greta, head of the house, greeted her. Although, greeted is perhaps not the right word, for Lady Greta granted her only a barely perceptible nod.
What can I help you with, Meve?
The war, my dear. The one being fought outside the walls of your castle.
Greta smiled to herself, then intertwined her brittle, ring-covered fingers.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and...
And my liege is King Willem.
Greta calmly retorted.
Against whom you have raised arms.
Willem is a usurper. He unlawfully stripped me of my crown.
The Council of Peers deprived you of your crown.
Greta said, pursing her eyes into thin slits.
Fearing you would drag this realm into a senseless war. A fear which, it is now abundantly clear, was well-founded.
I have returned home a victor. I defeated the Nilfgaardians in Angren.
Due to a stroke of good luck. You think defeating Caldwell means you can defeat the Emperor as well? Madness, my dear Meve. And my men will not die for madness. Leave my home! Begone from my lands!
I shall go,
said the Queen.
But I shall return here once I win this war. And I shall reckon then with you and your house.
Meve kicked her spurs and set off at a gallop, sparks flying where horseshoes met cobblestones. For long afterwards, she silently mouthed a litany of curses aimed at the Oberts and their old Margravine.
Quest for death is yours, my queen. We'd rather have an accord with the Blackclads. Get on with them. Quest for death.
ไอ้พวกบ้าไอ้พวกกำปน
Meve's force reached Kaveldun, a small, run-down town.
The Blackclads, they've a strong garrison in place,
proclaimed her scouts upon returning from a foray.
And they stand prepared for a siege. Their stores overflow, and we see ballistas, scorpions.
Kaveldun can be taken,
began Reynard hesitantly.
But not without losses. Considerable losses.
A retreat? Is that what you advise?
I fear the soldiers wouldn't take to such a course. They're eager, Your Grace. They've a fire in them. Order a retreat and you could devastate morale.
Our losses may be heavy,
said Meve, drawing her sword.
But I'll make certain the vile invader suffers even more. Order the troops to prepare. We will attack.
Soon after, the Lyrians moved on Kaveldun, war drums rumbling in step to their march. Upon the walls, the Nilfgaardians stood poised to defend.
See the color of it.
I won't leave a single city to these invader scum! Valyria! For Rivia!
Oh.
For you, pal! Anything.
เก็บโบ
Mahjong. You sure about that?
Hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
For the Queen! God save the Queen!
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
มี136ว้า
We must bring down their walls! Crush them!
กู
Be a shame to let this beauty go to waste.
เชิญเดียว
Infiltrate!
4 5 6 7
Death is only the beginning! Elhurter!
I only loot corpses, except sometimes they're quite fresh. Cursed traitors.
Nilfgaard! Yes.
One bolt, I need.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Discipline. That is what you folk lack.
Give me a target.
Erigoa.
Arbalista, your command.
Gloire and Kazer!
Make love, not war.
Discipline. That is what you folk lack. Very gloire.
ถามจะชนะแล้ว
Gloire and Kazer! Discipline. That is what you folk lack.
We did it, Your Grace. The city is ours.
The Nilfgaardians had indeed prepared well, with grapples to repel hook ladders from the walls and long spears to rain down upon attackers far below. Meve managed on the fourth attempt to breach the defences, but did so scrambling over the corpses of her own men. The Queen was in the field tent when Reynard arrived with surprising news. To be heard over the groans of the wounded, he had to raise his voice.
Your Grace, a delegation of townsfolk. They seek an audience urgently.
Dozens of burghers stood before the tent. Between them and the Queen, a man knelt in shackles. His face was blooded as if he'd endured a vicious beating just moments before.
Who's this?
Our blacksmith, Todor.
Snarled a priestess in a frayed robe.
He betrayed you, Your Grace. Soon after the Nilfgaardians arrived, within hours in truth, he offered his labor and strength. They didn't even need to ask. Forged arms and armor for them, all for imperial girls.
Meve gripped the beaten man's beard, tugged upwards, and looked him in the eyes.
Did you forge the hooks and the tips for those spears?
I did, Your Grace.
It was fine work.
Growled the Queen.
Damned fine.
Show him mercy, milady!
Cried a withered old man in a flour-spattered apron.
When the black-clad bastards captured my son, they were eager to hang him. Todor spoke for him, saved his life.
He helped me too.
Hollered a woman in the crowd.
I were hungry. He shared what little he had.
The townsfolk began shouting over one another. Some told of the blacksmith's noble deeds. Others labelled him a traitor, deserving of a cruel and violent end. Meve turned back towards the field hospital, pondering the case, then spotted her soldiers' corpses laid out in rows. Had it not been for Todor, there might not have been so many.
"20 soldiers died today, wresting Kaveldun from Nilfgaard's grip,"
said Meve, her tone cold and unforgiving.
"'Twas your iron that felled them. 'Twill be your blood that pays the debt. 5 lashes for each of the fallen."
Todor's torturers were several, as no one man's arm could complete 100 blows. Amazingly, Todor survived the ordeal, but his body had been broken. He'd never put hammer to anvil again, and spent the rest of his days a beggar.
Freedom will cost us dearly. He weren't a bad person, milady. He strayed, aye, but deserved no such fate. He weren't a bad person.
Your Majesty, the hut's untouched. Ripe grain in the fields, 'tis hard to believe. I feared we'd have another Edirn here, with the black-clads setting fire to all.
I feared nothing of the sort. Nilfgaard's not stupid. Lands it aims to hold, it doesn't destroy. And Willem did bend the knee to the Emperor.
Battle
'Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
God save the Queen!
Again and again and again.
Mahjong. As you wish, my lady.
That will do.
Our ballista, your command.
For the Queen!
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
New orders? No?
You sure about that?
โอ้ยกดผิด
This one's got spirit.
Armor wars.
Sod it all. Don't like this.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Left, right, left, right.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
I only loot corpses, except sometimes they're quite fresh.
the Emperor and you might be freed. Watch your heads! To work! Infiltrate! Obedience or the lash!
When will you ever learn?
Enough fear!
ใครชนะกูได้
I think you'll really like this one.
One bolt I need. Give me a time. Nilfgaard!
เอามาทำไรแล้วก็เอามาไม่ใช่
March on. Oh, I'd be ashamed to let this beauty go to waste.
For the Queen!
Cursed traitors.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
คุณต้องเอามาได้มีนี่อยู่
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
I'm a horse.
101, 102, 103.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
$152, $154.
Catch!
I never miss.
Sod it all. Don't like this.
All right, that's no problem.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
I smell a leak.
Necessity! Invention's mum.
I only loot corpses, except sometimes they're quite fresh.
Ôi,คิดนานกับโลก
Rah! Scheiß! In train!
Left, right, left, right.
Off to the front yet again.
The morrow and drink with our forefathers!
again and again and again.
Of course, as you wish, Master. To the last!
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
As you wish, milady.
Her Majesty is exceptional.
Tell me you jest.
Yeah!
Toi and Kenza!
มุดไปConspiracy
เ
Terrasak consuming one of these move something like 1 3 5โอ้โอเคเราต้องย้ายคนหนีไปก่อน เอาใหม่สิมาเจอพัซเซิลยากๆตอนนี้กิน1ลด5เหลือ3กินตรงนี้ก็ไม่ไปนั่นอีกอะไรวะอะไรวะเดี๋ยวมันต้องเหลือไอ้คนไว้1 คน แล้วบ้าเอ้ย
Broadhead now loomed before Meve and her force. Once famous for its glowing forges and clanking manufactories, the city now stood silent. Why, you might ask? Because Mahakam. Decades past, it had opened its gates to human merchants and dwarven arms, exquisitely crafted and not nearly as dear as those made by man. Caravans had simply stopped coming to Broadhead. When its black-clad garrison spotted the Lyrians approaching, they'd hastily fled, left the city's gates open wide. Yet, they did not leave empty-handed. Their convoy comprising at least a dozen wagons loaded ostensibly to the hilt.
With what might they have fled?
With something damn heavy,
replied Gascon, squinting his eyes.
Look at this. 2 horses to pull each wagon, and the wheels cut deep into the road.
What they've taken from my city,
began the Queen.
They've taken from me, and I will have it back. Follow me!
Meve spurred her horse and galloped off in pursuit of the fleeing caravan. When the Blackclads realized they had no hope of escape, they planted pikes and feet, bracing for the assault.
quarry belongs to me. They gain ground. Don't safer. Ah.
For the Queen! I'm a wrong say.
Cursed traitors.
My boots got sand aplenty in them.
Have her done in a jiffy.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
I only loot corpses, except sometimes they're quite fresh.
All right, that's no problem. Alba! One bolt's all I need.
As you wish, my lady.
Wanna know why I got my scar? Very glad!
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
Left, right, left, right.
To the Nicola! Enough! I refuse to die for these scraps!
Meave personally and none too gently shackled the Nilfgaardian commander, a young nobleman with a precisely trimmed moustache. Like many noble Imperials, he spoke fluent common.
The wagons. What's in them, Captain?
Scrap, Your Majesty.
The Imperial promptly replied. Noting the Queen's confusion, he elaborated.
To be melted down and recast into arrowheads and spear tips. Our engineers originally planned to use the foundries in Broadhead, yet these proved too primitive. We were ordered to remove the scrap, take it elsewhere.
Any pride from the victory vanished in an instant, and Meave swelled with anger, but also with shame. The shame came from realizing that to the invader, her realm was naught more than a weak, underdeveloped backwater. Meave slammed the chest she'd opened shut.
Blast it! Back to Broadhead. Let's ride.
Crumbling walls, shattered windows, rotted wood. Broadhead was bleak, a dull shadow of its former self. As the Lyrians entered, the somber townsfolk glared at the arrivals and uttered not a word. Meave resolved to address the crowd.
Folk of Broadhead, you're free at last. The Nilfgaardian occupation is done.
Aye, and a new one starts now.
Are you madman? Don't you recognize our banners? The Lyrian army stands before you.
Oh, I recognize banners. Served neath them as a sergeant 15 long years. And then I came back to my own town. Know what I found? Hardship and squalor, your grace. All had gone to shite. On account of damn dwarves. Been flooding Rivia with their metal goods for years now. Us smiths don't so much as light their pipes in their foundries no more. You call yourselves the Lyrian army. Colours and banners confirm it. Well, what about your arms? Weren't forged in us fires, but in Mahakams. By us worst foes. Hell, I even see some at knobheads in your ranks. So what freedom's it you're giving us, your grace? Freedom to beg in common, not in Nilfgaard's mongrel tongue.
Beg? What do you want about, man?
There's no levy on goods from Mahakam. But without it, us workshops don't stand a chance. And ye, your grace, you wear their armour, bear their arms, and bring bearded bastards to our doorstep.
The dwarves are faithful allies. They help us because...
'Cause they've got something to gain. Simple as that.
Enough. Silence. Consider yourself lucky you've a merciful queen. I'd have had your head off by now. Move along.
Before Meave could leave the market square, Barnabas politely interjected.
Frankly speaking, there's a bit of truth to what the man says.
I'm perfectly aware of that. But what do you want?
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but perhaps I might be of some help.
Do tell how. I'm all ears.
Everything your folk make here, the dwarves of Mahakam make twice as fast and twice as well. You must find a so-called niche, an innovation. And it just so happens innovations
are your speciality.
At the risk of being immodest, exactly. Besides, it might serve the cause of peace to show the folk here, non-humans, are not all bad, that they can help. Not just steal human jobs and piss in their milk.
I'll consider it, Barnabas. I shall think and let you know.
The time came to leave Broadhead, so Meave summoned her advisors, eager to hear their counsel. They put forth ideas, many of merit, but the Queen would decide the city's future. After careful deliberation, the Queen approved Barnabas's proposal. He would manage the city's ailing industry and seek to restore it to health.
Barnabas, just please, do your best not to blow it all up.
Don't you worry, Your Grace. The only boom in this town's future is that of the economic sort.
At first, the Rivian townsfolk were skeptical of the Queen's decision, but Barnabas's schemes bore immediate fruit. Soon, the foundries and manufactories were bustling with life. Before long, Meve herself received new goods produced there.
Now, I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but this Barnabas bloke, he's not a bad apple. Now, I'm no ally of no...
เปิดแอร์ก่อนร้อนโอเค เสียบานาบัสไปก็ไม่ค่อยดีแต่ก็ในเด็กของเราตอนนี้ก็ไม่ได้ใช้ขนาดนั้นอยู่ดี
The wind howls like a ghastly apparition. That didn't even cover it.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Greetings. What is it? If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
See if he's had any coin in his pockets, or his owns.
Not going into the fray already, are we?
แพ้ละ
Of course I'll manage. That trained a full week.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Stick 'em up, high as the clouds, now!
Greetings. What is it?
Left, right, left. What now?
Should have listened to me old lady.
Greetings. What is it?
Stick 'em up, high as the clouds, now!
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
Of course I'll manage. That trained a full week. Pointy end upwards, right?
Oh. อะไรวะ
Should have listened to me old lady.
เฮ้ยกดผิดอ๋อทำไม
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
The mist's gonna pass me those lovely earrings? Or do I tear them off myself?
Greetings. What is it?
Of course I'll manage. I trained a full week.
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
Pointy end upwards, right?
You might have got away had you not been hauling so damn much.
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud. Left, right, left. What now?
Oh, okay.
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver or in blood.
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Aye.
Greetings. What is it?
Left, right, left. What now? Not going into the fray already, are we?
Ui, ยากเว้ย
Stick 'em up, high as the clouds, now!
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
Pointy end upwards, right?
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Oh, okay. ได้ละดูละ
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver or in blood.
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
Left,
Right, left. What now?
ต้องวัดใจด้วยอย่างนี้
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
โอเคจบวิดีโอแล้วเดี๋ยวต่อวิดีโอหน้า